evening? Enjoying the sun? Yes. Brilliant. Well, my name is Kelly Lemon and I run Concentric Lettings in West London. We are a lettings agency and we also help investors source property. Oh, almost over there before I even begun. Now, my job today is just to give you a little bit of an update on the rental market because, as Andy, filling in for James, was saying, it's very important obviously how you finance your deals, but obviously if you can't let them, they're not going to cash flow. Now, rental voids, which is obviously the period that a property is empty and there's no tenant living in there, is actually slowly been decreasing, which is a good sign. So now it's at a 2-year low and it's about 2.8 weeks. Now, about half the landlords that were surveyed are actually experiencing a void period of about 2 weeks. Who here has got a void at the moment? Who's waiting to fill a property? If you're an agent, it's slightly different. If you're a landlord, basically, I mean, what this shows is it's slowly decreasing. It shows that the tenant market is remaining very buoyant at the moment and there's a lot of demand. So if you do have a vacant property at the moment or you do have a void, obviously 2 weeks, that's enough time to get in and do all the things that you need to. But if it's longer than that period, then you need to start questioning your agent or perhaps what you could be doing slightly differently. Because at the moment, there certainly is the demand there. And obviously that's stemming because a lot of people are struggling to get mortgages and all those sorts of things, which are great for you guys because obviously it's a great time to enter the buy-to-let market. And if you've got properties, it's a great time to expand the portfolio. Health and safety, isn't that just everybody's favourite term, health and safety? Now this is a really interesting one because what's cropped to the top of the list at the moment is one of the things that landlords don't do. Hands up, anybody with their soft furnishings, when they do an inventory, who checks for the fire label? All of you, fantastic, brilliant. Well that's one of the things that you need to do. Okay, it's really important that you do this. Now, if the furniture was supplied before 1993, which I'd have to question why, but let's move aside from that, then you are able to have furniture in the property without that label, but you have to prove that it was there before 1993. Now, if you've got a property that, you bought a mattress last year, if there's no label on there and you can't prove it, it has to go. And this is really important because I had a landlord about 2 months ago who had a mattress, couldn't find the label, and there's actually a black market for labels. So you get some landlords that are selling them. I know it's an interesting topic, but what I'm trying to say, the piece of advice I can give you is A, make sure you leave your labels on, don't chop them off. Try not to let your tenants chop them off, and keep the receipt. Because if you've got the receipt, then you're absolutely fine. A very, very brief story. We had one landlord who had a couch, left it in the garage, didn't want to leave it in the property, didn't have the label it should have had. We advised him to leave it in the garage, and it wasn't involved. Tenant pleaded with him, can I have the couch red, it fits the room, etc., etc. The landlord sold her the couch. Now, 2 months later, she fell into arrears. When we contacted her, she turned around and said, you've actually got a couch in here that's not got the correct labelling on. She had it. So this is actually, even though it's a small issue, it's an important one. So it's certainly something to look out for. And then leads me very nicely on to landlord fines. Landlords do get fined quite a lot. Now this is a really interesting one. Let's call him Mr. Brown in Southport. He's just been fined £11,500 plus court costs. And he's been fined that because he hasn't supplied a gas safety certificate. Now, we all know that you need to do a gas safety certificate. Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yep.
There we go. Now this guy, what's interesting about this case is he couldn't supply a gas safety certificate for 2 years running, but there was no accident. There was no fire, nobody was hurt, nothing happened at all with the property. But they've made an example of this by fining him to say that whether there's an accident or whether there's not, it's not acceptable to not have one in place. So again, you may think, well, nothing happened, so I'm fine with that. But no, it's really important, get one in place and keep them. Keep them for your records because this is a prime example of how things can go slightly wrong, even when everything's gone fine and dandy. So that's the letting update for this month. I'll be back next month. If anybody wants to talk to me about anything further or they'd like to find out a bit more how we can find the properties in the areas they're looking, then I'll be standing right over there by the purple banner and I shall see you all in the break. But for now, I'll hand you back to Andy.